Let me guess, you want to make videos like Dan Koe, but you don't want to use complex software. You'd rather choose something simpler. However, you don't want to give up quality, but if you don't know which way to go, then this video is for you. I will give you a map that will show you the way to make Dan Koe quality short videos with simple methods that you can do with any video editing software. I hope you're ready to learn the basics, so let's get started. Find a quote. You can find a lot of quotes from a lot of places, whether it's from your favorite influencers' social media channels, a simple Google search, or even an AI-generated quote. You'll be able to do anything with these methods, and the only limit is your imagination. Make sure that the quote is neither too short nor too long, otherwise you will either not have enough time to create scenes for it, or you will have to do too much and you may even exceed the platform's time limit. In this video, I will take a quote from one of Dan Koe's YouTube videos and make a short video for it. So here is the part of the original video that we will animate.
Block out 1 hour a day, work on one meaningful project, aim for one vision for your future. Take it one day at a time. You don't need more motivation, you need more clarity. You don't need more time, you need more focus.
Make the audio. If you have the quote you want, you can use your own voice, hire someone to read it aloud, or even use AI. I'll leave Dan Koe's original voice, as all credit goes to him. Step 3. Break it down into short sentences. Take the quote and divide the text into shorter sentences where you want to highlight something important and continue with the next step. Step 4. Brainstorming. This is perhaps the longest, but also the most exciting and creative part. Don't hold back, all ideas are good. Come up with as many as you can for each part, then select the best ones and try to connect them into a single story with transitions between them. Dan Koe's style is characterized by the fact that the animation starts with a simple object, usually a circle, then moves this circle and transforms it into other objects or connects it with other elements. And of course, almost everything is just black and white with a little lighting, so we don't have to worry about the colors. This is how I did this part. I started thinking about what would be the best image that would convey the essence of the highlighted parts of the sentences, broken down in the third step. Block out 1 hour a day, emphasis on the 1 hour part. A simple black and white clock icon, animated as the hands go around, and then illuminating a part corresponding to an hour. Work on one meaningful project, emphasis on the meaningful project part. Doris uses a diamond icon in his videos for showing an important task, which I really like, so I'll use that as well. It would be nice to add rotation or some 3D movement to it, but CapCut is not really good at this, so I had to search for a diamond animation on the internet. I found one on YouTube, but it needs to be modified a bit by playing with the adjustments to match the style of the video I want. Aim for one vision for your future. There are several important words in this part of the sentence: to aim, vision, and future. For the words aim and vision, Dan Koe usually uses a target board or an eye. Of course, this must be connected with the previous image, which was a diamond. My first idea was to have the diamond fall on the target, but I couldn't really integrate the word future into this scene, and I had even more trouble connecting it to the next sentence, so I had to come up with something else. My other idea was to use lighting. So the scene would be that the diamond lights up, and then a beam of light comes out of it, which now I just have to connect with the word future. So I thought it would shed some light on a timeline somewhere in the future, and that I was able to connect pretty well with my idea for the next scene. Take it one day at a time. In this part, the point is the whole sentence, so I wanted a scene that symbolizes small steps. At first, I thought that the diamond would fall on the timeline, then it would start to move towards the future by jumping a little on it. The problem with this idea is that again, I had a hard time connecting it to the next scene. So instead, I placed small circles on the timeline to represent the years, and animated this circle jumping forward again and again. From this, it was also easy to go to the next scene, because it is relatively easy to transform a simple circle into almost anything. You don't need more motivation, emphasis on motivation. I had quite a few ideas here, but in the end, I liked the carrot and the stick analogy the best. I just had to connect it with the previous scene. I looked for a carrot and a stick icon on the internet, then I converted them to black and white with Photoshop, and then started to animate it. My first idea was to transform them with rotation and morph animation from the circle to a carrot and then to a stick. But the time was quite short and the animation became so fast that I had to come up with something else once again. In the end, the circle went around on the screen, leaving clone lights behind, in which the carrot and the stick icon appeared, plus the diamonds to connect it with the previous scenes. And it looked even better than my first idea. You need more clarity, emphasis on clarity. Clearly, this had to be an eye, and it had to be somehow connected to the previous idea. I completed the previous scene by leaving the circle symbolizing going around, then moving the icons to the center of the circle, making them smaller. This way I made them disappear and displayed an eye instead. You don't need more time, emphasis on more time. The best for time is the clock, which I already used in the first scene, but I needed something else to emphasize the word more, so I simply multiplied the clock animation. And finally, you need more focus, emphasis on focus. The first thing that came to mind for this was a target board, which was quite easy to transform from the eye. After this I had all the key scenes, so I could move to the next step. Step 5. Fine-tuning. I just refined the general plan and further divided the sentences by using the first parts of the sentence for the transition between the main scenes, for which I designed the smaller transition scenes, and then the second half of the sentence will be the key scene I want to display. Thus my final script is like this. Block out, show clock, 1 hour a day, animate a clock plus select a range of 1 hour. Work on, convert watch to diamond, 1 meaningful project, diamond animation. Aim for, diamond light, 1 vision for your future, highlighting the present, then the past, then the future on the timeline. Ticket, zoom in on the timeline to the present, 1 day at a time, jumping forward on the timeline. You don't need, jump high, leaving the timeline. More motivation, display the motivation icons by describing a circle. You need to make icons disappear and transform them into an eye icon. More clarity, eye looks right to left. You don't need, the eyes close and the clock changes to animation. More time, multiplication of clock animation. You need, remove clock animation. More focus, target board animation. Step 6. Making animations. Explaining how to make every single animation would take quite a bit of time, so I'll cover them in detail in the next videos. In the meantime, here are the final animations we will make. The clock animation. In the next video, I will show you 2 ways to make this animation. One of them requires an effect from the pro version of CapCut for the final touch, but in the other method, I will show you how to create it completely free within CapCut. The diamond animation. As I mentioned, I used a YouTube video for this, but I had to convert it with the built-in CapCut functions. So this part will mainly be about using these settings and adjustments. Lighting animation. I will also show you 2 methods for this. The first is a simpler method but with slightly more limited options. The other is a bit more complicated but provides more options. Timeline animation. This animation contains only simple elements. The challenge is to move the elements in a way as not to lose quality. So these small tricks will be the most important things in creating this part. Jumping animation. For this animation, we will use keyframes and their properties. So if you are not sure about your knowledge with keyframes, then this part will be really helpful for you to level up your skills. Motivation circular animation. In this part we will use a combination of the methods mentioned before, with a few minor tricks to make them stand out. Eye animation. I have to admit, this isn't the most beautiful eye animation I've ever seen, but it could be done quickly, and it fits the style of the short video really well. Maybe in the future I will make a 2.0 version of it. More time animation. This will just be a reproduction of the first animation, with a little creativity, but nothing special. Maybe I'll try and add a bit of extra spice to it, how to do it even better than me. Target board animation. This can be done in several ways, similar to the first clock animation. I will show you both methods just to give you a little practice. You can thank me later, or right now by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Step 7. Making the final animation. Stitching together the animations of Step 6, according to the plan described in Step 5. If you really want to level up your short videos, and do everything from scratch, you'll need to add 2 more steps before this. If you have seen my Isaac video, you can pretty much guess these steps, but if you don't want to guess, then I'll tell you that these steps are adding sound effects and music. If you did all the steps above, the final result should look like this.
Block out 1 hour a day, work on 1 meaningful project, aim for 1 vision for your future. Take it 1 day at a time. You don't need more motivation, you need more clarity. You don't need more time, you need more focus.